I'm Brian Christner, and this is The Byte, a bite-sized podcast about containers, cloud, and tech. Welcome back to The Byte. In this episode, we're going to talk about ifconfig.co. This is a service I use 2 to 3 times a week at least. And the reason being is I'm jumping networks all the time, and I need to know my public IP. And, instead of going to some of these websites that are just littered with all sorts of advertisements, I came across this great service. It's called ifconfig.co. So ifconfig.co. Now you can put this in your web browser and there's no advertisements, and it gives you your IP address, it gives you, what city, country ISO, ASINs, etc. This is great, but I'm in the command line majority of the day, and opening up a browser tab and doing these things just kind of slows me down. I just want to know the IP address right away. Now to do this, I usually go into my command prompt and I type, for example, curl ifconfig.co, and boom, it returns just the IP address, which is brilliant. Now it does have some additional flags in there. So if we look at the documentation, it's all in GitHub exactly how this thing is built. So I can actually go curl ifconfig.co / for example, city. And it returns the city where my IP address is registered. Or if I want to do ASIN. So ASIN is quite unique because this is ASIN. So curl ifconfig.co / ASIN, and this is an autonomous system number. And basically, did I say that right? Yep, system number. And what this is it assigns a unique number to the country you're in, where the IP address is in, as well as the ISP. And you can look this number up. For example, it ties it down exactly to your ISP so you know who's selling this IP address. Now, you don't need this information daily, but it's nice to have. Now, something that I use quite often is curl ifconfig.io / JSON. And what this gives me is it gives me the complete rundown of my IP address, what you can actually see in the website. So it gives me my IP, gives me IP in decimal, host name, it gives me which ISP I'm in, longitude, latitude, where my IP address is from, ASIN. It gives me all this information. It's very usable. Again, typically I'm only looking for an IP address, but this is a super easy way to find your public IP address without being littered with all sorts of advertisements and going down the rabbit hole of sharing too much information with some of these websites. Quick and easy way. I use it quite often. I can recommend it to everybody. It's also my previous episode where I talked about Bitbar. I actually use it in Bitbar to publish my public IP address in the menu bar of Mac. So you can make some automation around this. There are some rate limits, but it's very reasonable. So I've never hit the rate limit. Give it a try. It's a simple service, but it's something that just makes your life a little bit more automated, a little bit more easy going through today. Hope this helps. That's all for today's episode, ifconfig.co, and I'll put the links in the show notes. Have a great day. See you next time. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Byte. You can find the show notes at thebyte.io and follow me on Twitter at I Do My Own Tricks.